Hey guys, Kelade here. Welcome to my Mythic Jaina kill/commentary video. For this fight, we are going to be charged whirlwind into the fight, and then we recklessness charge, Siegebreaker, Rampage, Dragon Roar, Whirlwind, Rampage, Raging Blow, Whirlwind, Rampage, turn to the ad and execute it. As far as all the openers concerned, I do believe that is the best Fury Warrior opener you can do on this fight. The Whirlwind charge and then Recklessness charge, I do believe gives you the most rage. That way you can start off your Recklessness with as much rage as you can, right? You're already Whirlwind cleaved, so that way you can just go ham and do all of your damage there. Not only is executing the ad going to give you more DPS just overall, but it's going to give you 40 more rage, right? It's going to be Whirlwind cleaved onto the boss, so it definitely helps out your single target DPS too. So I definitely recommend trying that if you can. You can even do that in like other AoE settings, right? I do believe it's going to be a really good opener for AoE in general. You guys saw right there, I did do a Dragon Roar, like I walked out, Dragon Roar charge the boss. You can also do a little Whirlwind walkout and charge the boss. Whenever you use those two abilities, take advantage of that. The fact that you can charge, walk out and charge during them just so you can get that extra rage. Right there for the Ring of Ice, just make sure as a warrior, you should be staying as long as you can because you can always just leap out, right? Leap out, make sure you don't get frozen though. You don't want to get frozen. Leap out the last second, step in the fire. That way you don't get rooted. If you do have priests, of course, they can always mass dispel the root, but if you want to get broken out ASAP, step into fire. Right there, you guys saw I walked between Jaina and Frozen Ballista just to make sure I can get the AoE cleave, right, on both targets with my Dragon Roar. Whenever you can hit multiple targets, you should. Right there, I tried to execute the Ballista right there, but unfortunately, it did get end frozen right as like I was midway through execute, so I didn't get the extra rage that I wanted to get there because I did have Recklessness up, so it would have given me 40 extra rage, but unfortunate there. So if you can, however, whenever you can on this fight, execute the Frozen Ballistas, you definitely should, because it is going to give you that extra rage, which is going to be a boon to your single target DPS. As far as for talents on this fight, I am taking Endless Rage, Double Time, Inner Rage, Warpaint, Carnage, Dragon Roar, and Siegebreaker. You'll notice that unlike the other fights, I am doing Inner Rage instead of Sudden Death. Now, if you did take Sudden Death, you will be doing more overall DPS throughout the course of the fight, but we have ample DPS right now in our raid for phase 1 and phase 2. What's really important right now is just getting that phase 3 damage in. And, when simming from a target from 28 to 6% HP, which is basically what Jaina's at during our phase 3 without lust and all of that stuff, right? Using like the real fight kind of settings, really. Inner Rage does edge out a little bit more ahead at around 160 DPS over Sudden Death for my character. So just for me, for this part, because we're trying to push phase 3, right? Which is why I'm doing that. Right here, 61% HP is when Jaina phases. So melee DPS, you want to get off Jaina because if you stand within Jaina during melee range while she transitions, that is going to give you 1 stack of the chilling debuff, and you don't want that. So all the melees have to back out there. So right here, we do just follow some of our markers. The people that are marked right here, they're either tanks or they're people that have the offhand that lets you see the snow easier. Like they have better visibility in this. So if you're people in a raid, right, what you want to do is they have a macro where they equip it and then they unequip it once they're done with this transition phase. It just makes it easier for them to see the little swirlies, so that way you can kind of follow them and dodge them easier. We do split our raid into 2 different groups, left and right, right? We're in the right group. Our hunter, marks the boss, so that way he can see where she is, right, when she transitions, right? There's 5 mirror images, and then there's Jaina herself. You do have to kill all 5 mirror images before you interrupt Jaina on the mythic difficulty. So that's what we're doing here. That's why we split up. That way we can kill the ads even faster. Normally we go all the way to the right, but Jaina, she was the most right target, so that's why we went all the way up the middle of the entire room, right? For the initial glacial baits, it's not going to be the most pretty one because you're going to have people from both sides of the room kind of running together, and not everybody has like an instant gap closer. So it's okay if that one's messy, just as long as it's not going through right the middle of the room, right? So we break the barrel right shortly after that. Just make sure you stay on it as long as you can. But if you have a weak aura to track it, that's even better, right? Just make sure that you stay in the barrels as long as you can, but you also want to make sure you get out because on mythic difficulty, it does a lot of damage. And generally, if you're not completely topped off, or if you're not a warrior with a buttload of HP, you'll probably die to it. So right here, just DPS the boss as much as you can, right? It was a great bait onto that raid, just into the wall, right out the room, taking up as little real estate as it can. Right here, we DPS the ordnance a little bit, but we're going to kill it with this second set of broadsides for this barrel. It's generally our third broadside in the entire like fight. So that's gonna kill the barrel right there, and we're gonna wanna make sure we're in it, right? So we can get all of our chilling stacks and buffed up. You can see my weak roll right there, the boom. Before I hit 0, just make sure you step out. And then there's gonna be another glacial ray bait right here. As far as for cooldowns used on this fight, just use them whenever, right? I did use my commanding shout right when we exit transition phase, so that's the first time I use it. The second time I'm going to use my command and shout is going to be the siege breaker in the last phase of the fight. There will only be one, and that's going to be the big siege breaker there. So for DPS cooldowns, right, we're just using them indiscriminately. That's fine, but there becomes a point, I think, like right now, basically, where I'm not going to use my cooldowns ever again. Around 37%, like when we get to the last barrel, because I'm going to be saving them and making sure that I have them up for phase 3 of the fight, right? The wall, you can use a siege breaker on the wall, and I do end up doing that. But don't use a recklessness anymore until the last phase of the fight from this point on. Break the third barrel. We realize, you know, we have too much DPS, which we know that, right? Because we've done this fight lots of times. So we're just kind of holding DPS, kind of chilling here, waiting at broadside. Just, you know, stay in the ray as much as you can, and then just walk out. Make sure nobody's gonna get hit by it. Perfect. Nobody's on the edge, right? Get back in the ray. Just make sure that we're not gonna get frozen out there. Somebody did call out there was an ice fall coming, so we all shift over here, so we're not getting hit by the ice fall. It's very important. Somebody does call that out. We see that glacial ray is about 10 seconds from coming out, so make sure we push the boss. She pushes between like 31 and 30%, so yeah. Unfortunately, our tank does get ice blocked here, so we are going to be, you know, AoEing him down with the wall. Generally, we just single target the wall down, but we have to do a little bit of whirlwind cleave there to break him out. For this, generally the raid, what they do, I think most guilds do, is that you have your ranged DPS Jaina as much as they can in this part of the fight, right? Get their dots up, refresh it, and then, you know, all the melees are hitting the wall, right? Break the wall, leap charge onto Nathanos, right? Get to him as fast as you can, kill him as fast as you can. I do have a macro here, everybody does. I'll show it on the screen right now, where you cancel Bloodlust. Very, very important that you cancel it, because that way Jaina doesn't have our ice block still, so your hunter can interrupt her, right? So we lust right when the wall comes down, right? So you lust right when the wall comes down, kill Nathanos with it, but right before Nathanos dies, you want to make sure to cancel it. I also set the water elemental as my focus target. Show another macro right there on my screen. That's a focus kick macro. We have 6 melee on this fight. We have a 3 kick rotation, so that means we're going to be kicking like every third cast. So 2 melees are in charge of each cast. That way, if somebody gets, you know, broadside or they're frozen or they just mess up, whatever, you always have 2 people kicking. That way we can guarantee the kicks. Of course, with our whole raid comp, we have a lot of kicks from a range too. So if our melee ever can't do it, we can always call it out, and then the range can always, of course, get it themselves. So right here, obviously, just DPS as much as you can, right? So right here, we come to the X because somebody called out for a bait. Very, very much like Mythic Mythrax with the raids there, actually. Because there's another ad off in the corner there, right? There's a mirror image. We just ignore the mirror image. We bait the ray away from the raid. We get to the other side, and then we just DPS her as much as we can. So I'm kicking like 2, right? So when the ad has 2 right there, I'm kicking it. Just make sure you get the water ball volleys. Right here, the boss does a last orb. That orb we don't soak, so we need to kill her before that orb blows up, freezes us, and kills us, right? So we're getting close here. That orb is about to explode right here, right? So you can see we're all alive. The orb is gonna blow up right about now. Yes. So we all get frozen here. Our pally bubbles, our mage ice blocks, and the boss dies 2 dots. So that's it for the fight. It's a very long fight. I think we took something around 280 pulls to get the boss down, but there you have it. Jaina is down, and that's it for the end of this raid. Unfortunately, I only got to use my recklessness really once in the last phase. You guys saw there, I literally hit recklessness and got frozen by the orb. Unfortunate, but it's all right. Got the boss down. As always, thanks for checking out the video, guys. Feel free to subscribe to see more. See ya.